2. Welcome back. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Amarillo, and I am your host. We travel across the country talking to real estate investors who are experts in their field, millionaires, multimillionaires, to bring back their education and deliver in a manner of value to you from a place of understanding and knowledge. Today, I have a guest, Jack Bosch. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So Jack, we were just talking, and you're not the land masters, but you are the experts when it comes to selling, purchasing, and flipping land itself. We're talking just land. We're not talking assets on it, just the land itself.
Well, we bring people to being masters in land flipping. So we are the land master, but we brand ourselves as land profit, the land profits, land profit generator, land profit fund. So our brand is land profit generator. That's what we do. We have been in this business for 18 years. We are flipping land like house flippers flip houses, just without the number one complicating factor of house flipping, which is
Tenants,
the house,
the
right?
house.
The house. That's the thing. Now, it's not bad. House flipping is fun and house flipping is good. And I flipped a few dozen houses but you're dealing with so much more complexity when flipping houses, because you got to get in first of all, or if you do it virtually, you got to have somebody go into the house. You got to have somebody estimate repairs. You're dealing with a lot of competition. You're dealing with tight time frames because that person needs to sell in like 7 days. So you're dealing with hard money. You're dealing with all the stuff. And in land flipping, we're not dealing with any of that. Right? But we can do the same thing, right? I'm helping one of our students right now through a deal that next week he'll make $30,000 on the deal without ever having seen the property. He actually lives outside of the country and hasn't even been in the country in 2020, yet he has multiple deals on a contract. One is closing this week, another one he's putting on a contract like today for sale. And together, these two deals will make something around $50,000 from overseas, from another country. So that's the beauty of it. There's no competition, there's no timelines, there's no tenants, toilets, termites, there's no hard money loan, because we buy these properties we put them on a contract for 5 to 30 cents on the dollar, and we go flip them like other people flip houses, just simpler.
So Jack, you and I were talking before the podcast, and you were saying that you also are involved in syndications. You own multiple units all across the country. It sounds like nearly 1,000 units you're involved with. And you're actually paying off a bunch of your investors on one of your syndications on a $7 million building or a $7 million project to have full ownership. So you're doing a lot of things. How did you get started in real estate? What was it that brought you into this in the first place?
So I got started, and yes, we're doing all of these things right now. It's been a busy few months right now. I got started. I'm originally from Germany, as you can probably tell in my accent. Sound like Arnold, don't look like him. Yeah. I came here just to finish my college degree. Like I got a master's. We did a 1-year master's because I had an undergrad in that same thing already, business, basically an MBA, and came to this university here and realized just how wonderful of a country this is. And then also 3 weeks in, met this girl that was like, it's always the girls. Met this girl that was like just awesome, and fast forward, she's now my wife of 19 years, and we have a 13-year-old daughter, so that worked out. And after getting closer to graduation, we realized that we really didn't want to leave the country. We wanted to stay here. We wanted to give our relationship a chance. We wanted to stay here because my wife is an immigrant from Central America herself. She's from Honduras, so she's not from here. So long story short, we got jobs. This job sponsored the work visa. So we're always legal in the country. The work visa led to the green card, and the green card ultimately led to us becoming citizens. So it's a nice journey. But somewhere in that process of having a job, we realized that this is not, that's not what it's meant to be. That's not I'm internally lazy. Like I've always been lazy. So I'm willing to work really hard for a short period of time in order to be lazy for a long period of time. Right?
Yeah, so 100%. I can relate. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. What I can't stand is a daily grind that has no chance of ending for 40 years.
Right.
Like, which is the definition of a job, right? So I started in the job and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for the next 40 years. And while I enjoyed the job, I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be with this. These people were cool and everything, but I was 100% travel. I was like, I don't want to, that's not what I want to do. And I want to go with a bunch of strangers for dinner, talk about how to optimize your Marriott rewards car points because you're standing in hotels all the time and which things that you use and it's like no. So soon enough, and we were miserable being separated because I was 100% travel. And so we started looking around and we came across all kinds of stuff. And one of them was real estate, and it caught on. It makes sense, right? What I like about real estate is that it fulfills the 4 criteria that they're looking for in any business. It's number one, it is designed to make money. Not every business out there is designed to make money. Like you can't make yourself like mowing the neighbor's lawn when you're 14 makes you $20, but you can only mow so many lawns, right? Yes, even if you hire a bunch of people, you pay them $15, you make $5, it's not really scalable to the level that it is. I mean, I've very rarely seen a large landscaping company. Most of them are small landscaping companies because it doesn't usually, unless you do it for big commercial thing, it doesn't usually give itself for scaling. The same with like if you start any franchise, you spend $400,000 for a simple Subway franchise store, and then you have to hire people, you have to open it. So you bought yourself a job, really. Right. So it's like, and real estate though has the potential. You can make 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand. One of our students just did a deal, made $300,000 in a deal. So on a land deal. So it's you can make big chunks. 5 deals a year make most people more than that they made in their job.
Right? I love it, Jack.
So like, number one, it's designed to make money. Number two, if you do it the right way, it provides cash flow. Yeah, and even land provides cash flow if you do it the right way. Yeah. Right. So we have built up our cash flow from land to $70,000 a month. So it definitely works like that too. The next thing is and if you do it right, you don't even have to be there. So you can do it virtual, you can do it at a distance, you can travel while deals are happening. So as a result, and part-time if you want. So it's like, okay, those are the 4 criteria. It works, it's the right tool. Now we just got to figure out which angle to take on this thing of real estate, because you can do multifamily, single family, commercial, you can do wholesaling, you can do rehabbing, you can do building from the ground up, you can do land banking, you can do developing, you can do land flipping. And we tried a few of those and we failed in method after method because we had no money, we had no credit, we had no relationships, we had no knowledge, we had none of that stuff. But once we hit land flipping, it just did boom. And 18 months later, we were millionaires.
No kidding. 18 months from the point of just struggling to figure it out to the point where you actually had nailed it and become millionaires. So the 4, I think you only gave us 3. I think there's a 4th one that's missing.
Fourth one is part-time, being able to do it part-time. So
part-time.
Designed to make money, cash flow, being able to do it remotely, and the other one is part-time. You don't have to do it full-time. You can't run a Subway franchise store part-time, right? You got to be there, opening the door, cleaning the place, making sure your employees show up. You got to do bookkeeping. You got to do things. You can't do that as a hobby, but you can do real estate as a hobby if you want to.
So Jack, because we're picking on Subway, I actually have a student who owns 3 Subways, and she's extremely passive. What she did is she brought in a manager who manages them for her. So there is a lot of work.
You got to have 3 of them.
Yes, there is a lot of work involved.
The profits of the first one goes for the manager, and then you can enjoy the other one. But you also need to invest another $250,000 to $400,000 on each of those. So now you're out $1 million, and most people don't have $1 million or can't borrow one.
Yeah, they can be expensive. She is, I'd say, extremely unique in her abilities, and that's the only reason I encourage her to keep doing what she does. Because like you're saying, I don't think that most people have it, especially people who are prone to real estate investing don't have the talents or the skills that she has. And same with landscaping. I've got two students who have phenomenal businesses, and I've met one person who's a multimillionaire through landscaping, but they are the exceptions. These people are exceptional at what they do, and the systems are phenomenal. For land flipping, you don't need as much. It just sounds like it's an ideal way to invest, where there is almost no people involved, and you can really just work the numbers. Is kind of like, I'd say there's a fifth benefit is there's no people involved. You work the numbers and things work out. So now, where are you at? So you've built this phenomenal system. You're teaching and coaching land specifically, how to profit through land as a mentor, as a coach. Where are you at in your career now, where you're looking at the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you see yourself going? What is your big goal here?
So we always be doing land flipping. So we always do land flipping. We have currently about 75 parcels that we just gotten in that we are selling right now. We have two full-time members. That one is a sales team member. The other one is like more like creates the listings and helps with posting them and things like that. And then a small team of one person that helps doing the analysis and things like that. You don't need more people than that, right? As a matter of fact, I could probably run it with two people, but we have three to run the volume that we run. So we're always going to do land flipping because this is what we discovered. This is what we figured out. Because land flipping, we focus on properties between $10,000 and $200,000. It's our sweet spot. There's no competition. Nobody else goes after land. These people have owned these properties for 20, 30 years. They're free and clear. We do a direct mail strategy. All of it can be nicely designed such that it's automated, outsourced and automated to 90%. So I don't need much time to be involved in those things, right? I create processes, I create tools with my wife. Obviously, she's the co-founder of it and running this alongside with me. But we don't need much more time to do land flips these days because everything is, we've been doing this for many years. It's all automated. And our students now get to the same point within probably like 6 to 12 months. They get to a point where they do anywhere from 50 to 100 deals in many cases and just don't, and 90% of it is outsourced and automated. So with that said, I got extra time now. Right, to your question, I got extra time. So what do I do in that extra time? Well, we have added what we call asset allocation. Because when you make money in land flipping, you got to put that money somewhere. I mean, you can't keep buying Ferraris and stuff like that. I don't own one, but you can buy Lambos and you can buy houses and kind of stuff like that. But that's like wasting the money. Yeah, sure. If you want the Lambo, get yourself a Lambo and it's great and so on. But the point is, if you're having really good income coming year after year after year after year, at some point of time, you're like, okay, I live in a big house. I have the nice cars. I have the things. I do the vacations. What now? Well, what now is the smart thing to do is to take that money and roll it into other asset classes that will continue to spit out cash flow and will continue to appreciate for your lifetime, for your children's lifetime, and for their children's lifetime, right? So, for example, that's actually something that my wife grew up in Honduras, and her dad passed away when she was 9 months old. But her dad had the smartness, was a hardworking man. He had the smartness of putting every dime that he made off to the side. And then he bought one income producing property in Honduras. Not something huge, but it was good enough to produce that income. He paid that thing off. And then just before my daughter was born, my wife was born, and before he passed away, and that income producing property got my wife through school, got her to university, got her to be graduating from school almost debt free, right? And that property now pays supplements and pays for the retirement of my mother-in-law in Honduras, and that is 44 years after the gentleman passed away. Wow. If there's ever a definition of passive income, then it's that, right? It wasn't managed by her. It was managed by a property manager, so of the trust of her dad. And this is an old established company still around. So everything is they just basically, she was able to focus on school, and the bills were able to be paid. Not at a crazy level, not at the rich level, but at a nice level. So we basically grew up understanding, she grew up understanding that the ultimate passive income comes from real estate. So when we got married and she explained that to me, I finally got it. So when we did land flipping, we did first land flipping for active income, like active income, because we needed to get out of debt. We needed to build up some reserves. We needed to be able to quit our jobs. We needed to be able to do those things and perhaps upgrade our lifestyle a little bit. And once those things were accomplished, we realized, okay, this is all great. But if we stop land flipping, our income stops. So we need to move these funds over. And since then, what we happened, and the timing was perfect because back then it was 2009 when the market collapsed, and we were able to buy house after house after house after house. So we bought a portfolio of like 40 to 50 rental houses that we were able to buy at like 40 grand a piece. They're worth now $250,000 and we still own them, right? They produce cash flow. Then we were able to go and say like, well, let's step it up a bit and let's start taking the money from land flipping, because again, land flipping is our cash machine. What brings in, what pays the bills, what brings in the cash. Now we're taking the extra profit and we're rolling that over into apartment complexes. So we started syndicating apartment complexes because, I mean, for some of these apartment complexes, you need $3 or $4 million, and we weren't sitting on that much cash, right? But we're sitting on sufficient cash. So we invest in our own apartment complexes. We syndicated with other investors, bought those things. And now we're buying out our investors right now out of one 90-unit apartment deal. And we're buying them out. And so we saved up and we leveraged some things and in order to buy them up. But it's a rolling process of basically monopoly, right? You trade 3 houses for a hotel. You trade 3 houses for, there we go, for an apartment complex, right? You then trade a few houses again, you cash those out, you buy out your investors. Now you own this thing 100% basically with a mortgage, but you own it yourself, right? You're not having to pay all the investors first, but which obviously we did, and now we can pay ourselves on that thing, and so on. So where does our journey go? I mean, we love real estate. What is our journey? And now we're teaching our students, not the apartment thing, we're teaching the land flipping. So our journey goes, we are on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires in the next 2 years. So we are on a legacy mission. That's our legacy. We're financially fine. Now it's all about changing other people's lives. So we're teaching them how to flip land. We're teaching them how to do deals in different ways. We're teaching them how to then roll over the money into other things and how to create generational wealth, right? But most of the focus is on land flipping. And then what we also do, we continue doing. So 3 to 5 years, we'll probably have we have more of these apartment complexes. We'll have we have our teaching businesses. We have accomplished our goal of the 1,000 millionaires. We continue flipping land. And then what we also do is COVID allows us, we go travel a lot. We usually take 3 months of the year and go travel around the world.
Wow, I love it, Jack. So we have a very similar mission, 100 millionaires in 2021. Cool. So I love that you said that's your mission. That's really powerful, man. You and your wife are doing some really good work out there and having a great impact. 1,000 in the next 2 years. I love it. You just inspired me to step up a little bit. So I appreciate that, that's your mission. What inspired that? We've got a few minutes left. What inspired you to say 1,000 millionaires in 2 years?
Well, what inspired it is that when you reach your own personal goals financially, something interesting happens. And that is that you actually almost fall in a hole. Because we're always like looking at like, oh, when I accomplish that, I'm going to be happy. When I accomplish that, I'm going to be good. When I accomplish that, and this is fantastic. You always want to set yourself goals, right? Because if you don't have goals, like you either shrink, or you either expand or you shrink. There's no stagnation, right? So you always want to have goals that stretch you and goals that make you better. And the Jack Bosch 2.0 version should be every day I'm striving to be a better version of myself, right? And strive for goals. But having said that, we had certain goals. We had the goal of a certain house, of a certain car, and more material goals. And once we accomplished the goals, and that was right around the time when our daughter was born, we're like, we got the family, we got the baby, we got the house, we got the car, we got the thing, we got the money in the bank. It's like, what do we do now? Like, I know we're going to continue land flipping, but what's the juice behind it? Just make a few extra million, make make what's it for? And I remember vividly it's floating in our pool. We had this beautiful pool. We moved since to an even bigger house, but we were floating in the brand new pool that we have made ourselves, designed ourselves, and thinking like, so what do we do? And what came up was like, man, nobody in the world does land flipping. Nobody in the world even knows about it. There's like 5 guys in the country that do this, and houses is like everyone is fighting like crazy over these houses, and it's like and it's completely crazy. We can teach. We don't create any competition by teaching this. We can't touch the tip of the iceberg of anything that we do here. We owe it to the world to teach them, and in the process, we can give back to the world, and we can teach them. So we started thinking about what if, like, of the impact it'll have on people, and the impact it'll have on not just on people, but how about their families? It is like it changes. It's if a lot of people are like in a generational a race of circling the drain financially, right? So they're in a generationally that happened. Their grandparents were struggling with that. Their parents, they're struggling. If we can be part of stopping that process and having them break that cycle, we're breaking it from now for the future for multiple generations. Their kids now grow up with a completely understanding of how money is being made, with a completely understanding of abundance, with a completely different understanding of what's possible. And they can stand on the shoulders of their own parents and take life to another completely different level. And we can play a little role in that.
Yeah.
Those kids, though, will probably never know our name. And that's just fine, because it's not about building a statue of Jack Bosch or Michelle Bosch. It's about knowing that me having a smile on my face when one day down the road I'm just sitting at my pool and I'm just thinking, you know what, we lived a good life, we made money for ourselves, but then we helped a ton of people to break that generational curse, to break that, and for generations, for their kids, for their grandkids and their great grandkids, to open up a completely different financial future. And that's what drives us. And we're getting thank you notes and success messages and gift baskets during Christmas season, like almost every day now, from people that just like, hey, I can't thank you enough. You changed my life in ways that you don't even know. Yeah. And because they were somebody who worked at the university and worked 80 hours a week, and now they get to stay at home and take care of the 3-year-old child that they never saw before, and building a completely different lives for themselves, right? Or the waitress that worked at a bar, and when she goes to Walmart, she has to think about, can I afford the half a gallon of milk, or can I afford the full gallon of milk? And now within 6 months, she made $72,000, and she can go to Walmart and she can buy 3 gallons of milk if she wants to, without having to think about it. It's the little things that make the huge impact in somebody's life, right? When they're realizing, I no longer live a life of lack. I have switched to the other side and I'm living a life of abundance. That's what we want to do for people. And that's just came out of this kind of almost falling into a hole of like, what do we do now? And land flipping does the best way, because there's no competition. There's no tenants, dollars, termites. You don't even need money. You get generate cash flow because we sell these pieces of land with seller financing. People pay us monthly payments. I mean, it's completely virtual. It just works.
Jack, I love it. So you're definitely one of those guests I'm gonna have to have come back. I've got about 30 seconds before we gotta jump off for the next call I have. You've over-delivered. You've given way more knowledge than I expected. Your experience is way bigger than I even knew. You are definitely a phenomenal guest to have on the show again in 2021. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I always ask for 3 pieces of advice. Now, I know it's very difficult to put into 30 seconds, but 3 pieces of advice. If you go back to your 20-year-old self, what would you say is the most powerful thing you could tell yourself?
Never think you're too young. For years, I thought, I'm too young to do this. I'm too young to do this. Now I'm 50 and I'm like, shit, I'm getting too old for things. Never think you're too young. Just screw it. People, that's number one. Number two, I would have said, just go for it. Like, if you're young, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? You fail. So what? If you're 20 years old, most people don't have savings yet, don't have experience yet, don't have things like, just go for it. Try stuff, because you might just find the passion of your life in that process, right? And number three, I mean, surround yourself with people that are going somewhere.
Jack Bosch, I think today I found my new best friend. You're building 1,000 millionaires in the next 2 years. You're an expansive personality. You're an advancing man. You and your wife are on the same mission. You've built, you've trained, you're teaching. What is the easiest way? If somebody wanted to learn more about you, what is the easiest way to contact you? Website, phone number, email? What's the best form of contact for you?
The best ways for anyone who wants to get in contact with us, number one, go to landprofitfund.com. Fun like having fun, not with D's or without the D, like fun, like having fun, landprofitfund.com. Or you can also go, we're having a 5-day free training class coming up. You can go to landprofitmaster.com, landprofitmaster.com. And register for free, and we'll have we'll do live. Both Michelle and I walk our guests through a 5-day mastery class where we teach you everything there is to know about land flipping, so you can become one of those millionaires.
Jack, that is pretty bad, pretty amazing. When is that? What are the dates?
That one starts January 18th. January 18th, 2021. But we also, we do them a couple times a year. So if you listen to this afterwards and you miss it, still go over there and register then for the next one. You might have to wait a couple of months or so, but we don't do them very often, but we do one on January 18th, starting.
So landprofitfund.com or landprofitmaster.com,
right,
and learn more about Jack Bosch and his wife, Michelle Bosch, who are looking to help build 1,000 millionaires in the next 2 years. Jack, you are an alchemist. You have the mindset of abundance. Cheers to your success. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. When you have a choice,
thank you for having
the best. Thank you, my friend. And that was pretty amazing.